Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. It's Friday. It's Friday. I know it was Friday earlier because this is video 2 of 2. You know the drill. If you've not seen any, you've missed one. And look, hands-free, baby. Hands-free. I'm finally in 2023 again. Don't ask. Anyway, before we go any further into this little bit of a end-of-the-week rant, I just want to give you a quick update for those who are interested in the Madeleine McCann case. Now, Madeleine McCann is the young girl who has been missing for several years, and that's a video in itself. But for those of you who are aware of the case, look, so you probably know, hopefully you know, there's been a search. There has been a search back in Praia da Luz where she went missing. I've got to get used to having a mic in front of me because usually I have a wireless one. So yeah, they've gone to a reservoir. But anyway, let's get into this. So Madeleine McCann latest search of remote Algarve reservoir finds relevant clue. Relevant clue. Items to be sent to German lab after police end hunt of Portugal Dam, located 31 miles from Praia da Luz resort, where toddler disappeared in 2007. A 3-day search of a remote Portugal reservoir has resulted in the reported discovery of a relevant clue linked to the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. Officers concluded their search of the Algarve reservoir on Thursday, that's yesterday, because today is Friday. Fucking getting good at this, knowing what day it is, baby. Where the key suspect, Christian Bruckner, reportedly visited some days after the 3-year-old vanished on May 3rd, 2007. Using sniffer dogs and a tractor-based tree cutter, authorities scoured Barragem de Arad. I've probably butchered that. Butchered it, I tell you. In the Algarve, around 31 miles inland from where the McCanns were staying in the Praia da Luz resort. Police in Portugal said the search resulted in the collection of some material that will be subject to the competent expertise. So they're not sending it to Idaho. The material collected will be handed over to the German authorities. During the search, a relevant clue, they love that phrase, relevant clue, was found, which led to officers concentrating on a specific paper, according to the Correio de Manhã newspaper. Bruckner has denied any involvement and is currently behind bars in Germany due to another case. Obviously, we're keeping it PC. Let's come back up here. So, look. So, Madeleine McCann has been missing for many years. And there is a lot of frustration out there because she's not the only child who's gone missing. There are multiple children who go missing every single day. But this specific case has garnered such financial support. And really, the controversy is not only about the fact that this doesn't seem fair. The fact is how she went missing in the first place. At the end of the day, in my personal opinion only, this was due to parental neglect. The parents and their friends were drinking. They left the children alone. They were not safe. They were not safe. They were in a foreign country. And do you know what? I put a link in the video that I did the other day in the pinned comment. And that is basically the captain who was investigating and concluded he'd done a book. And that's the link to an online version of that book. But this Christian Bruckner all of a sudden sprung up out of nowhere. Now, there is nothing that is connecting him to this case. There has been no physical evidence found, nothing whatsoever. And if you read that The Truth in the Lie book, it's an eye-opener. It's a true eye-opener. And I can assure you one thing that I gained from that book is the knowledge that if it had have likely been me or you watching this video now in the exact same position than what this family, the Madeleine McCann's parents, Kate and Jerry, had found themselves in, we would have been incarcerated. 100% would have been incarcerated. Now, there's 2 ways you can look at that, and that is a tragedy because of a potential wrongful conviction or a travesty, because ultimately it was concluded that they were involved. But it's not for us to judge. Christian Bruckner is the man who's currently in the spotlight, and will they find anything that's concretely puts him in the picture for this crime? Because like I say, up to now there is nothing. Yes, he's got a shady past. He's been involved in multiple felonies. It would say that years and years ago it was said that he had been involved in children as well. So he has got a specific background, although his later years would see him as quite a sloppy criminal, would get caught. He's been caught for everything he's done, and his MO seems to be older females. But look, who knows? We're going back years and years when Madeleine went missing. But anyway, right, let's touch on my little rant and closeout for the week. First of all, thank you very much for watching the videos that I've put out this week. I know that some of the content isn't for everyone. We're talking about the Bryan Kohberger situation, the Idaho 4 case, and for some it's a case of why can't we just wait? Why can't we just leave it and wait until the trial? This is why. Because even if we stop, there will be people that don't. There will be people that continue to put out the videos on this case. And why do they do it? Because it garners attention. But what pisses me off is the fact that, look, we can speculate. I speculate. I've said it before. I'm the king of speculation. But when I speculate, or when I have an idea or a thought or a spitball, I tell you that's what I'm doing. You know 100% that's what I'm doing. And I will unturn every single stone. Nobody is out of the firing line. And for some people, they find that very difficult. But like I say, in the Idaho 4 case, the 8-hour delay in calling 911, to me, has stunk from the beginning. And if I ask questions about it, that's because it stinks. And I have to put myself in a position, if I had children, if one of these had have been my child, how would I have felt about it? And some of these people they're not in a position to ask the question themselves, but that question needs to be asked. Why did it take so long to call 911? But anyway, it's not just about that. On the flip side of that coin, we do have the victims, of course we do, and they deserve justice. But for them to truly obtain justice for what happened, that system has to not only find the right person, but find everybody who had their hand in what happened. For me, I feel that Bryan Kohberger and again, this is just me, to feel that he did it on his own without any single input from anywhere else, anyone else, I find it difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but me personally, I find it difficult. And I would hate for him to get sent down the river, but somebody else who was involved gets off scot-free. Or for him to be sent down the river, and it wasn't him. And it's just the fact that this law enforcement situation, they wanted to get this closed off and done deal. I know that's a bit hard for some people to understand, but it happens. It does happen. They can get confirmation bias. They can get pressured into closing cases quickly because of the impact that can have on the wider community. I've seen it happen. It happens, and there's sod all that we can do about it. It just happens. We also have a situation where there are people who are out in the field who are feeding information to content creators. Now, I'm not going to mention any names specifically, Gigi, but like I say, there are people who go out purposefully to hand off information that they know is going to go on to the wider viewing of people and the impact it has. And we've currently seen situations such as the fact that Bryan Kohberger was sacked from his job, and there was a letter of termination. Now, we don't know if that's true, and we can pretty much debunk that just by looking at the terminology and the way that is written. It looks shite. But look, we also have seen recent things crop up about this connection to Dana Smithers and multiple things, but that doesn't just impact Bryan Kohberger and his trial and the justice for the Idaho 4 victims. It affects their parents. It affects Bryan Kohberger's parents. I was quite disappointed because I heard there was a comment, and I'm not going to mention who the person was, but they'd commented basically saying so what? You know, they showed no remorse for Bryan Kohberger's parents whatsoever. It was like, oh, Diddums, get on with it. You know, you've been called up. And I just thought, that's the society that we live in. You know, that is tarring the parents with the brush of what the child potentially did. He hasn't even been found guilty yet, and it's already trickling down to the fact that people are going after the parents by way of, you deserve what happens to you. You know, we've heard that Bryan's sisters had lost their jobs because of being the sisters of someone who could have potentially done a crime. Even if he's done the crime, what has that got to do with the sisters? Anyway, I digress. But that's why we do content, like the video that I did earlier today that touches on this most recent information regarding the Google searches and the fact that you've got situations where News Nation will come out and they will very strategically place information out for public consumption. It will say, look, we've done a Google search, and it comes up, a Google trend search, and it says that in 2018 there were Google searches done for Bryan Kohberger, you know, in a nefarious sense, you know, a suspect. And they palm it off like perhaps that was him searching himself to see whether there was anything out there that was, you know, is Bryan Kohberger a suspect, or maybe someone else was searching. And when you pick that date, the 2018, because it's so close to the 2022 date of the Idaho 4 crimes, that in its entirety looks terrible. It looks bad. And when you look in the comments of these videos, these people then go off, and they go off on a witch hunt. But lo and behold, News Nation could have gone back to 2004 and seen that they were searching back in 2004 Bryan Kohberger suspect, Bryan Kohberger Elantra, when Bryan was 9 or 10 years old. Now, News Nation could have chose to debunk that. News Nation could have come out and proven that Google Trends does not work in this system, in this situation. It doesn't work. It's a flawed system, but they weaponized that information and they sent it out. And that's why we continue to do content. We continue to do content, so when shite goes out, if we are able to cover it and tell you the real story, then we will do so. For better or for worse. But anyway, like I say, it's Friday. You've all been fantastic all week. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for everything. We have an amazing community here. And may it long live into the future and grow like a tree. Big tree. But I'm off. Next week, by the way, before you go, I am on holiday. I'm going away, but I will still be doing videos because you deserve it, because you're amazing. I'll catch you in the next one.